Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Miss Erin Yvette, and this series is sponsored by NADULA Hair. I'm gonna go ahead and just show you guys what you get in the box really briefly. It's just this wig cap, these bundles here. We're gonna be starting with the frontal. In this series, I am gonna be going start to finish on how I pluck my baby hairs, bleach my knots, create the entire wig. But in this video specifically, I'm going to just start with the frontal detail. So I'm just taking it out of the net and showing you guys a little close up on the knots and the frontal, giving you a little view at the curl detail. All of the hair specs will be in the description box, and on the screen I have a 20-inch frontal, a 22, 24, and 26-inch bundle. But again, we're just going to start with the frontal. So I quickly wanted to go over the purpose of bleaching knots for beginners. Now, I'm not a hair connoisseur, but basically the knots are going to be the dark spots on the frontal that make your wig look a little bit more wiggy. So bleaching the knots just allows you to make your frontal look a little bit more realistic. When I first started wearing wigs, I didn't do this step, but it does make a big difference. So as you saw, I did go in with gloves and a little bit of got2b spray because I did that with the coloring process. It did help make a little bit of a difference. Now, if you change your hair all the time like I do, I would recommend getting the tub like this. It's only $10 because the packet of these are like $3 a piece. And by the time you buy two, I mean, you might as well just save money and get the little tub. I love to use this developer, and I usually stick with 30 developer because it's like a happy medium, especially if you're a beginner. It doesn't really develop too quick and you're able to go back and fix your mistakes. So all I'm doing is adding a little bit of developer at a time. It's better to go a little bit at a time than to pour too much and it be the wrong consistency. You want this to be super thick so that it doesn't seep through your lace and bleach your hair. And so I'm just going in, adding a little bit more. I'm going for a little bit thicker than mayonnaise maybe. Once I get the consistency that I like, I love to use a knife. I just find that it's a little bit easier, and what I do is just literally tap it onto the frontal. I kind of press it onto the frontal without pressing it into the frontal, if that makes sense. And I'm literally just doing it kind of like I'm making a sandwich. I'm just sliding it ever so gently, blending it out. You don't want to press too hard, and definitely take your time with this. I am speeding up, but this took quite a while because I just did not want to bleach my hair. And when you do bleach your hair, it's okay. You can just go back and dye it black or whatever color you want it to be. So it's really not that big of a deal. I'm also going to show you guys a trick on how I get rid of the brassiness at the end. So I left this on for about 25 minutes. I probably could have left it on a little bit longer, and I rinsed it out with this Shimmer Lights shampoo to get rid of the brassiness, guys. I let that sit on for about 10 more minutes just to marinate, and this is how it looks at the end. Like I said, it's not the best. I'm not a wig pro, but honey, it looks pretty good to me. We can finally start on the wig. I'm setting the wig on the mannequin head first, and I'm taking these T-pins. You can use anything really to put it down, girl. I didn't use so much stuff before, like making a wig. My process is so ratchet, but I'm just gonna use T-pins for the sake of this video. You want your frontal to be pretty tautly secured because you don't want to be plucking and rip a hole in your frontal. And I find it makes it easier to make my baby hairs and to pull out, you know, a little bit of hair in the front whenever I use mousse. So I'm just going in with this one. You can use whatever kind you want. And all I'm doing right now is literally taking a little section of hair from the front. This is not to separate my baby hairs. This is to thin out the frontal. NADULA hair is great for beginners because it already comes pre-plucked, so I didn't have to do too much work. I'm using these tweezers from Forever 21, sis. They were $3. Go ahead and get you some. And it looks like I'm going in really, really roughly, but you definitely want to take your time with this. It takes me about 45 minutes to an hour whenever I'm tweezing usually. And I know you're like, ain't nobody got time for all that, but sis, I didn't do this when I first started wearing wigs. And if you take that extra time and have a little bit of patience, I promise it'll be so well worth it. It's gonna look bomb. And my new motto is I'd rather pull too much than to not pull enough, because realistically, I have bald spots in the front of my head. Not like massive bald spots, but I don't have a super dense hairline. So you don't want to have a super dense hairline in your wig. Also find that if you're not like really super creative, then this can be a little bit challenging. People are always like, oh, anybody can do it, but it really took a lot of practice and finesse. And for me, it just helps that if I brush it back, kind of swoop it every now and then to see how it's coming out, to make sure that I'm not plucking too much, or if I need to go in some other areas, as you can see here. So I like to pull some hair forward and then pluck in random sections. Like, you don't want to just pluck in the same spot. You want to be plucking randomly in the front, the back, and the side. So this is the final look. I don't like to slick down my baby hairs before I actually customize the whole wig, so I usually just use the mousse to kind of give me an outline of where I think I want my baby hairs to be. And this is how I do my frontal, you guys. It's the full customization. If you would like to see how I customize my unit and a little review on NADULA hair, then definitely check out parts 2 and 3 of this series. Thanks so much to NADULA hair for sponsoring this video, and I will see you guys in my next